Good to have everybody with us in the south end zone of Kyle Field. It is May, and it's time for another Yell and Review with our Director of Athletics, Ross Bjork. I'm Will Johnson with Tyler Pigg. Ross has joined us, and another good line of questioning from the 12th man that we have this month. But some people think it's summer, school is out, things get a little slower. But here's the list of Aggie teams I have in the postseason right now. Women's golf on this very day. We tape on Monday, May 22nd. They're trying to find their way into the Final Eight, match play out at the NCAA Championships. Men's golf is going to go to the NCAA Championships this week. Baseball starts the SEC tournament. Softball just finished their season, went to an NCAA regional. Track and field about to go to the NCAA prelims. I'm out of breath. That means nothing has slowed down. It's everything still going.
I guess consistency-wise, Tyler's here again. Andrew's slacking off.
Living on the road.
Baseball. He's with baseball. He's traveling with baseball. How often do you have to travel with baseball?
He's got to feel like he's back in his minor league baseball days.
Oh, you know he does. He's loving it.
Well, you call it through the South.
Yeah.
And,
taking a trip through Mississippi to Birmingham to go to Hoover.
We miss Andrew, that's for sure. But, the only thing that's slowing down right now around here is traffic.
Yes.
Traffic does ease off a little bit. But as far as activity and events, I just walked through the Hall of Champions, and there's an event going on from another unit on campus here. So, it doesn't really slow down or shut down in the summer months. But excited to be in this moment. We just had a great academic semester. We'll announce some of that news here in the coming days. But one of the best semesters academically that we've ever had. So really proud of what our student athletes are doing. So let's jump into it here with the 12th man.
No doubt. And we will begin with John Rogelski, who's class of 02. He's in League City, Texas, just south of Houston. And he's got a two-part question to get us going here. John says that he wasn't able to listen to the last show, so sorry if this has been answered. But will the surface surrounding Kyle Field be replaced this summer with the same surface or new type of surface? That's his first question. Obviously, we have referenced that there's been some construction at Kyle Field with the South End Zone suites coming in.
I tell you what, John, he is going deep because usually we get, what about Reed Arena? What about Bluebell Park? What about his other questions are going to relate to some of our other more high-profile facility projects. But the surface, he must be in a meeting because we've been talking about this. And actually, John, yes, the surface around Kyle Field, the field itself, is being replaced. That project will start. Gosh, we're the end of May. It'll start somewhere in the middle of June. It's going to be a similar type surface to what's down there now. And the reason being is because we have a lot of carts and a lot of vehicle traffic that need access down there. We bring in the cannon. So that surface needs to be a multi-purpose surface, if you will, a little bit hardened, maybe than obviously the grass itself. And so that will be replaced this summer with something pretty similar to what's down there now.
All right, and as you said, continuing with facilities, John has a second question. What is the completion date of the new football indoor performance center, the additions and renovations to the Slocum Bright football complex, and the new Adam C. Sin Class of 2000 Academic and Wellness Center?
We're always happy to answer facility questions because that means people are paying attention and want to know what's going on. So, yes, we've talked about this before, but just to refresh, the indoor performance center, indoor practice facility, that'll be done by the 1st of August in time for training camp. And they're out there working. I pulled in here on Saturday afternoon, and there's a crew on site. And so they do have a lot of work to do, but they're making progress towards the beginning of August. The Slocum Bright football complex, this year we're only renovating the second floor. So we moved out nutrition, we moved out academics. The second floor is going to be all of our individual breakout rooms for quarterback position, offensive line, all the different position rooms. We'll have an individual team meeting room for offense and another team meeting room for defense. And then we'll have a walkthrough room for offense and defense that'll attach to all of those breakout rooms. So that has to be done by the 1st of August. We report on August 1st, start practice on August 2nd. So the football pieces are coming together. And then the new the Adamson Academic and Wellness Center, We'll start seeing vertical construction on that probably August, September, start to come out of the ground, and that'll be open by the start of the academic year for 2024. So middle of August of 2000. So that'll take about a year to finish. And then what people will see as we get towards the end of fall and early 2024 is the KAMU building, the current campus TV station building. That building will come down in early 2024 to make room for the plaza. That ties into the academic and wellness center, that ties into Aggie Park, and kind of brings everything together. So all of that will be done by August of 2024.
Like in the fifth inning of construction phase right
absolutely.
now. Halfway through, almost halfway through.
Yeah, there's never cranes that really leave Texas A&M. I mean, we're always building something, and we're excited about these projects. Like we said, things are coming together, and they're going to be big time for our programs and for our student athletes.
And like we said, very busy. Still very busy around
That's exactly
here
right.
with a lot going on. Yeah.
Got a question from Larry Joseph out of my neck of the woods near Birmingham. Larry asked, speaking of projects, the back in the fall during a storm, the A&M covering on the branded covering on the back of the video board at Kyle Field was damaged. What's the update on that process, and what's going to go up there for 2023?
Yeah, great question. I drive by that every day when we come onto campus, and many people see that from, really miles away. If you're in South College Station, you can see the big Texas A&M logo up there. And so that is a high-profile, visible piece of our athletic complex. And the problem with that piece of material, if you will, is it has to be breathable because of the video board. It has to keep the video board with air movement. So it is a mesh screen. Mesh screens collect dust.
A lot of dust.
So I guess that would have been installed in 2014 or 15.
Yeah, when the video board went
right,
up. I believe it was 14.
2014. So here we are approaching 9 years. A lot of dust, a lot of construction, a lot of sun, right? The sun setting in that south sort of quadrant of our Earth, hitting that scoreboard, the back of the scoreboard. So a lot of fading, a lot of dust. And so this has been on the schedule for a long time. We looked at different materials, but again, the breathability piece of it to protect the video board. So it's being replaced with a brand new maroon and white Texas A&M logo. That should be done by the end of June. The fascinating thing about that is the cost to have the scaffolding and the equipment to get to it is about 10 times the cost of the fabric. So it is a massive scaling project. And then we're also replacing the lighting. So we'll actually be able to turn off and on lights. Before we had lights that were positioned up there that were on all the time.
Yep.
So now we'll have lights that we can actually turn off and on, and it'll be 10 times better and 10 times brighter, and it'll be brand new, and it'll just look 10 times better. So the eyesore that has been shown to the world will be updated and brand new and white and maroon, and it's going to look crisp and neat and clean. So.
We'll fire out a photo for Larry on our Aggie football channel.
Yeah.
Phase one or piece one of 3 is done. I drove in this morning and saw the left side done.
I was going to say, if you have somebody in College Station, Larry, that wants to drive by and take a picture, I mean, the left side, like you said, the left side is done, and you can see that maroon popping, and the rest of it will be, like I said, over the next few weeks. Here we go.
So a bit of a new look there
That's
to Kyle Field. And moving on, Sutton Turner is back. Class of 92 from College Station. I think he missed last month.
I think he did. I think that was only his second time.
Yeah.
That he missed.
It's like
in the last
it's
3
like
years.
those great fans that have those streaks of games that they
That's
made all the time. And when one ends, it's news. Well,
we've been doing this for pretty much 3 years now. So
then
Sutton, we missed you.
Yeah, I think Sutton's starting a new streak here today. So many times ADs are not the focus of media until there is controversy within the athletic department. As an AD that has walked through controversies, do you have a matrix on when you speak out or make a public remark and when you don't? So do you play it out in your mind, and how do you handle each situation as practice for you?
Yeah, there's different styles and different approaches. I don't think it's necessarily a matrix per se. And, look, there's some ADs that are more visible than others. There's some that, only you hear from them when there is a controversy. And so I think it's all about a balance in what the right approach is. I think if you would ask all of our local media. I would hope that they would say that I'm accessible, that they can reach me directly if they need to. Do I have time to comment on everything? Do I want to comment on everything? Not necessarily, right? That ebbs and flows. Depending on what my schedule is, or if they may have a deadline that is really tight, and I can't reply to them. But I would hope that our media would say there's accessibility there. We try to do things like this, where we are proactive. My social media presence is, I'm going to promote our teams. Every now and then there might be a family thing in there, but I'm not really interacting with a whole lot of people, because then, where do you start and where do you stop? So I just try to promote, our programs and be positive from that standpoint. He asked about similar situations at other universities, and do you sort of role play that out? I think all of us in whatever industry it is, whether you're in banking or athletics, if something happens in a segment of that industry, you're always going to analyze it, and you're always going to say, boy, if that happened here, would we do something different? We all can Monday morning quarterback, whatever it might be. So I think we all sort of role play. We analyze situations. Doesn't mean we comment on other programs, publicly by any means. But you always, I think, want to play these things out in your mind. So I think our job here is to promote our student athletes, promote our coaches, promote our programs, showcase the things we're doing, be transparent about all the things that are happening in our program. And whether that's a formal, interview or something like this, that's an internal production. I think you always have to, be willing to put yourself out there and put your program out there to do what's best, for Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
Ross, we got a question from Ryan, class of 22 from McKinney, Texas. He says, Ross, I fell a little bit short on 12th man rewards for getting the lunch with you. Hey, Ryan, thanks for signing up.
Okay.
That's what we want you to do.
We're having that lunch today.
Oh, okay,
as a matter of fact. So.
But Ryan wants to ask you, how do you get involved in a career in the world of college sports? I believe it's a career path I'd like to pursue, and want to know what is a good starting point.
So it looks like he graduated class of 22. Honestly, Ryan, the best way to start is to start and get experience. I mean, Tyler, you did it. Will, obviously you work in athletics, and we all have a story of, boy, somebody recommended this, or I was a student worker in this department, or I did an internship, or somebody gave me a piece of advice. So we all have those moments in our lives where somebody, helped us along the way. And so I think the biggest help that I could give you is find some experience. Find a relevant volunteer position, an internship, a full-time job if you can get it. The other pathway, if you did graduate already, Ryan, is to go to grad school. Graduate school in athletic administration, sports management, typically leads to an internship or some sort of practicum experience. The biggest thing is you have to get something on your resume. I remember applying for jobs coming out of undergrad and grad school, and I just didn't have a whole lot of experience. And they're like, why didn't you volunteer? I don't know. That's a good question. I should have volunteered. So those are the kind of things that we all point to, is we have to build our resumes, and it's so competitive now in the world of sports that the more you do as early as possible, then you can stand out. So the best thing to do, Ryan, is start now, build out a pathway, make connections, build your resume, maybe go to grad school, and usually doors, will open. The more people you're around, the more doors that are going to open, down the road. So.
And Ryan referenced he was just a bit short on his 12th man rewards points for the lunch with you today. You said it's today. Where is lunch? Where are we treating everybody?
We're going to the Letterman's Lounge.
Oh, good deal.
Yeah.
That itself will be a treat for a lot of things.
Yeah, we've got a good handful of folks that chose to accept the lunch. So I don't know what they want to talk about. I'm sure there's nothing to talk about, right?
Probably not. It's all quiet.
It'll be fun.
We're covering it all here.
That's right.
Right here.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. Moving on, Steve Streetman is class of 77. He's from Austin. Interesting question, we thought, here from Steve.
Yeah.
With the rapid rise of AI, has it been considered or used by our coaches for game planning or even play calling in football? I don't know how you dial that up in this day and age?
Steve, it really is a fascinating question, and I don't know if anyone has even thought of that from a game planning standpoint or play calling, especially because you'd be curious. What's the main app that people go to?
Was the
ChatGPT and OpenAI are the two that they're all kind of connected together.
So we've more kind of had the conversations around, what does that mean in the academic world, right? We're seeing more of that. We're seeing more conversations on, did this paper come from an AI source or was it actually written by Tyler? And so it's more in our world around the academic piece. But as far as game planning, play calling, to me, that's where the future could go, right? I mean, we're not as advanced as the NFL in terms of we don't have tablets on the sideline. We don't have the communication in the headset to the quarterback. Hopefully we get to that point in college football. So do you use technology in those realms versus more the AI stuff? I'd be curious to see if you type something in and said, how do you have a game plan to win the national championship or to win the SEC champ? What would that spit out?
Be very curious.
Would it spit out specific plays, style of play, recruiting rankings? I don't know. Somebody's probably going to run that now.
It's not AI, but the world of analytics now.
That's right.
With our teams, I mean, what Jim Schlossnagle and Tricia Ford can do in terms of scouting with all that, it's really incredible. I mean, I don't think Schloss is in a hotel in Hoover right now asking ChatGPT, I mean, how do I get Tennessee's hitters out? But the data you have now with analytics, this really is incredible.
It's there. So maybe it's a different form, if you will. It's sort of data that you already have versus the artificial piece of it that you're trying to capture. So it's very interesting and something that obviously AI is here. It's going rapidly. It's advancing rapidly. How do we stay up with it in college athletics? I mean, I think it's not necessarily AI, but I think of what we did with our walk-in, walk-out, march-in, march-out technology here where I was at the NCAA softball tournament, and I went and bought 3 bottles of water, and I set it on this screen, and it had a scanner above it, and it told me what I owed, and I just plopped down my credit card and paid for it. No human interaction. So we're doing a lot of this intelligence stuff now. It's just the game planning, the play calling.
Yeah, not sure if we're there just yet, Steve. But I would say to Will's point, and Ross, you probably would agree, in the last 5 years, the analytics approach to every team from football all the way down to softball, baseball, to volleyball, to even golf.
To see our coaches prep and scout, it's an incredible deal this day and age.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go down to Corpus. Justice Salazar, class of 26 from Corpus Christi, asks, Ross, are we going to see baseball jerseys for sale online that look like the current ones the team wears?
We have some online. Obviously, Tyler, you can probably chime in here as well. We're trying to just be as aggressive as we can in this space. And really it comes down to you have a product on the field. You work with your sideline partner. They have to work in the supply chain world. They have to work with a manufacturer. How fast can you turn that stuff around is usually the dilemma that we all face. And then how do you get it here? And then does somebody have to put in a minimum order? Are they ordering 1,000 jerseys? Well, what if they only sell 400? So it's a really complicated – you talk about a matrix.
That's
very
a matrix.
Complicated matrix. But we do have more that's been produced, and hopefully we'll have more coming.
Justice, I'll give you a little inside baseball. So this takes about a year to develop with Adidas and our sideline partners, along with Fanatics and 12thmanshop.com. But you can go on adidas.com right now. You'll catch the Aggie Script baseball jersey that's available for sale. Flip over to 12thmanshop.com. You can find the same thing. And I'll tell you, going into spring of 2024, you're going to see 4 to 5 to 6 offerings that we wear on the diamond on 12thmanshop.com. So a lot of credit goes to Fanatics and Adidas for kind of getting out of this supply chain hold we've been in for a while, and then and kind of working with us through that process to get it right.
Justice, I had somebody stop me at a softball game yesterday, and we had great softball uniforms, I think, throughout the year. And we had yesterday we wore the sort of a cream Aggies in gold and a great look. And somebody, where can I buy that? So I think so
those are going to come online in July, adidas.com, July 1. So you'll be able to buy the shirt that goes to the players wear, the jersey hopefully, and if you like to play softball, the Adidas customized cleat, the Audi Zero cleat that the Aggies wore yesterday will be available. We were one of 3 teams to wear that: Washington, Arizona State, and Texas A&M. So thanks to Adidas for working with that that process. But
so more to come, Justice. Not where we want to be, but hopefully making progress here.
Yeah, a lot of good strides. Got a little more to go for sure. So last question comes out in the old Golden Triangle from Orange, Texas. Nolan Moore, class of 2022. Are there any more future collaborations planned with the Corps of Cadets in Aggie baseball or Texas A&M athletics, similar to what we did with the Corps of Cadets jerseys for baseball this spring?
We collaborate with the Corps all the time. I mean, obviously every football Saturday there's a great collaboration, and so we're going to continue to be creative with them. Patrick Michaelis, who's the new commandant of the Corps, he's progressive, he's innovative. He's not afraid to make decisions that advance the Corps. They're trying to get to 3,000 members. So if athletics can help them in that journey, we want to definitely be a part of it. So we're going with them right now on what does game day look like? How do we continue to evolve? So a lot of collaboration with the Corps. Is there going to be another jersey? Maybe not. But there's also other entities on campus that we're working with to create some unique components. And so I think in baseball we'll have something special for next year around a collaboration with another entity on campus. Nothing right now with the Corps and jerseys, but lots of communication with the Corps and General Michaelis, who's by the way a 1-star general. Pretty cool to interact with a 1-star general on our campus among a lot of great leaders here. But Patrick Michaelis has done a great job since he's been here since the fall. So,
and
good question.
Give the 12th man kudos on this. The Aggie Baseball Corps Cadets jersey is the #1 selling baseball product in all of college baseball right now among Fanatics partners, which is a very wide
I saw
network.
there's people in Austin at the softball regional wearing that jersey throughout the weekend.
A lot of credit goes to the 12th
man out there for sure.
Falling in love with that.
Well, we started by saying we're still busy despite rolling into summer. Mentioned all those teams in the postseason, both golf teams, baseball, SEC's coming up. Softball season is done, but they made the NCAA regionals, and track and field is heading to the NCAAs now. And busy for you because before we break it here, I think Destin is pretty soon, and the SEC meetings are coming up.
Right. Yeah. We have our annual meetings starting the Tuesday after Memorial Day. So that's presidents and chancellors, that's faculty reps, athletic directors, head football coaches, head basketball coaches, men and women, senior women's administrators, TV executives, all the conference staff, of course. So a lot of heavy topics right now, right? All the changes going on with NIL, NCAA, the legal landscape, state law, congressional approaches, transition of Oklahoma and Texas coming in a year early than anticipated, and what does all that look like from a scheduling? Just before anybody asks, we have not made a decision on whether we are staying at 8 games or 9 games. That will be a discussion topic next week, and hopefully we can move the needle. I mean, we've been saying that we support 9, but now that it's 2024, a year early, that does come with a few more complications. And so we'll have a healthy conversation on it. Hopefully we'll get in a good spot, and if not, then we'll have a plan, and that plan will obviously showcase the SEC. And the key, no matter what model we go with, whether we stay at 8 or go to 9, we're going to see more rotation. Both models have more rotation among SEC members. We haven't played Georgia here at Kyle Field. We haven't been to Kentucky, right? And so either way, we're going to have more variety in whatever model we look at. So before anybody asks.
I'm surprised we didn't get that today, actually. May's kind of a sneaky
it's a staple
scheduling question month. So
this is the fascinating thing about Destin is almost goes back to Sutton's point about do you have a matrix on when you speak and make a statement or give an interview? So the thing about Destin is you walk down the hallway and there's media members everywhere. And a lot of times to avoid him, you can put your phone up to your ear like, hey, I just got a call from Tyler about the baseball jerseys.
Big problem back with the baseball
I need
jerseys.
to talk, or you can just walk by, you can nod and just keep going, or you stop. And if you stop, then what happens is if you're talking to one person, then here come like 15 others.
Becomes a pack pretty quick.
So, and look, I don't do the phone thing. I don't try to avoid it, but a lot of times it's like, hey, look, we just got to have a meeting. We talked about 97 things. It's hard to zero in on one thing that you talked about. So the media piece of it is just something that you have to, kind of juggle. And Paul Feinbaum's there. He's got his set there. He's doing his show from there. All the Sirius XM folks are there and, doing lobby interviews and stuff like that. So it's a great event. It showcases why we're the best league. But it's a busy week with a lot of heavy topics this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and one more thing, we were discussing this before we came on air. By the end of this month, we should know some kick times of our first 3 weeks of football.
Should know that at some point next week at our SEC meetings. That's exactly right. So lots going on.
Yeah. Everybody start marking it down on their calendars.
100 days for football season on Thursday, folks.
Thursday.
100 days.
On
Okay.
Thursday.
100 days till kick. All right. Let's start the
Exciting
countdown.
times.
Good
Here we go.
stuff.
Thanks
again.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
For Ross, for Tyler, I'm Will. Thanks to our producer, Matt Simon, our director, Thomas Burns. That is another Yellen Review with our AD, Ross Bjork. So long from the south end zone of Kyle Field.